After 3 years of silence, I received a letter from my daughter. But when I looked closer, after 3 long years of silence, I received a letter from my daughter. For a moment, my heart nearly jumped out of my chest. I was about to open it when my wife's voice cut through the air. "Stop," she shouted. I froze. "What's wrong?" She pointed at the envelope, her voice barely a whisper. "Can't you see?" I looked closer, and what I saw made my stomach drop. But before I tell you what it was, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments what time it is where you are right now. My hands trembled as I reached into the mailbox. There was something about that white envelope on top, something that made my pulse race before I even read the handwriting. 3 years of empty mailboxes had taught me not to expect anything. But there it was, my daughter Naomi's handwriting spelling out my name. August 31st. Her birthday. How could I ever forget? I held the envelope against the sunlight, tracing the familiar curves of her letters. The return address, her Lincoln Park apartment, the same place where everything had fallen apart. My chest tightened with a hope I'd buried long ago. "Minnie," I called, rushing up the steps. "Minnie, get over here, quick." The screen door slammed behind me as I burst into the living room, clutching the envelope like it might vanish if I loosened my grip. "What's all the shouting about?" Minnie appeared from the kitchen, drying her hands on a towel. Her eyes found the letter instantly. "Look at this," I said, holding it up. Her face softened. "That's her handwriting, all right." She touched my arm gently. "Are you sure you're ready for this, Ralph?" I turned the envelope over in my hands. It wasn't heavy, but felt real. After 3 years of silence, Naomi had written to me. On her 38th birthday. "I keep thinking this might be it," I whispered. "Maybe she's finally ready to talk." The afternoon light streamed through the window, painting the room gold. Outside, the world carried on. Neighbors chatting, kids playing, cars passing. But inside, time stood still. Minnie sat beside me, her presence steady. "Whatever it says," she murmured, "we'll face it together." I nodded, though my throat felt tight. 3 years of hoping. 3 years of failed calls, sleepless nights, wondering if I'd been too harsh or not harsh enough. 3 years of missing her laugh, the sound that used to fill this house every Sunday when she'd call just to talk. The envelope felt heavier now, like it carried the weight of everything left unsaid. Reconciliation, forgiveness, maybe even a chance to be part of her life again. Or maybe another wound. Another door slammed shut. I set the letter carefully on the coffee table, afraid to open it, afraid not to. The silence was thick enough to hear the kitchen clock ticking in the next room. "She remembered I'd be thinking of her today," I whispered. Minnie smiled faintly. She always was thoughtful like that. A memory hit me hard. Naomi as a little girl, racing down the stairs in her pajamas on her birthday morning, eyes bright with anticipation. Before life got complicated. Before Ethan. Before everything went wrong. I picked up the letter again, tracing the precise way she'd written our address. No mistakes. No crossouts. She'd taken her time. That had to mean something good. "I can't remember the last time I felt this nervous," I said softly. "August 31st, 2022, Minnie replied. "The day you drove to her apartment, trying to talk sense into her." The memory washed over me like a heavy storm. That day, the one that changed everything between us. But maybe, just maybe, this letter would bridge the gap those 3 years had carved between us. I took a deep breath and prepared to open the envelope that might contain my daughter's forgiveness. I sank into the kitchen chair, the letter trembling in my hands. Its weight pulled me backward, back to that September afternoon when everything fell apart. I remembered standing outside her Lincoln Park apartment, my finger hovering over the doorbell. The city buzzed around me. Young professionals rushing home, couples walking their dogs, life moving forward while mine stood still. I'd come determined, desperate to make her see the truth about Ethan. She buzzed me in without question. When Naomi opened the door, she looked tired, dark circles under her eyes. Her perfect posture slouched. "Dad, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk, sweetheart. About your marriage." Her jaw tightened. "If this is about Ethan again." "It is," I cut in. "It's about him, and about you making the biggest mistake of your life." She stepped back, but didn't invite me in. "I'm 35, Dad. I don't need relationship advice from you." When your husband's gambling away your future, you do need advice from someone who actually cares about you. That's when he appeared, Ethan, standing behind her, hand resting possessively on her shoulder. Just the sight of him made my blood boil. Too smooth, too charming. The kind of man who could rob you blind and make you thank him for it. "Ralph," he said, fake warmth dripping from his tone. "What brings you by?" "I'm talking to my daughter," I said coldly, "about the casino receipts I found in your car." Naomi's face went pale. "You were snooping in our car?" "I was helping you move that bookshelf, Naomi." Papers fell out of the glove compartment. $1,200 in one night. Ethan's mask cracked for just a second. His eyes turned sharp. "That was a business event," he snapped. "Client entertainment." "Don't lie to me, son," I said evenly. "I know the difference between business expenses and addiction." "This is my life," Naomi shouted. "My marriage. My decisions. When are you going to stop treating me like a child?" "When you stop acting like one," I said, the words sharper than I intended. "That man is draining your savings, your credit, and your future. You don't know what you're talking about." But I did. I could see it in her eyes, the fear, the denial, the way she couldn't look straight at me. And Ethan's grip on her shoulder tightening. "What about family, Naomi?" I asked quietly. "Doesn't that mean anything to you anymore?" She laughed bitterly. "Family? You mean the people who never accepted my choices? The ones who questioned every step I took?" "We question this one because we love you." Naomi's eyes hardened. "No," she said coldly. "You questioned it because you can't control me anymore." Ethan stepped forward, voice dripping with false concern. "Maybe it's time for some space, Ralph. Let Naomi make her own choices without interference." His manipulation was so smooth, so calculated, I could almost believe him if I hadn't seen this same performance before. I watched my daughter's face as she absorbed his words, watching her build walls I'd never be able to climb again. "He's right, Dad," she said finally. "I think you should leave." Those words hit me like physical blows. "Naomi, please just think about what I'm saying." "I am thinking," she said sharply, "and I'm choosing my husband over your suspicions." Then came the sound that still echoes in my memory, the door closing softly, but with the finality of a thunderclap. I stood there for minutes, staring at the wood grain, hoping she'd open it again. She never did. Now, sitting in my kitchen 3 years later, I could still feel the weight of that door. That rejection, that silence. The drive home that night had been the longest of my life. After that, I tried everything: calls, texts, letters, even prayers whispered into the dark. I left message after message on her voicemail, my voice breaking more each time. "Hi, sweetheart, it's Dad. I'm sorry about yesterday. Maybe we could grab coffee and talk things through. Call me back." She never did. By October, Ethan started answering her phone. "She doesn't want to talk to you, Ralph." "Let me hear that from her," I said. "You heard it when you showed up uninvited and upset her. Leave us alone." The line went dead. I drove to her apartment twice in November. The first time, Ethan met me in a lobby, wearing that expensive suit and fake smile that made my working man's clothes feel smaller than ever. "This has got to stop," he said, blocking the elevator. "You're causing her stress." "I'm causing her stress?" I shot back. "What about what you're doing to her bank account?" His smile didn't falter, but his eyes turned cold. "Careful, old man. Harassment is a serious charge." The second visit was worse. He intercepted me in my car before I'd even reached the building. "I warned you," he said, phone already in his hand. "One more visit, and I'm calling the police. Naomi doesn't want to see you." I left before he could make good on that threat. Christmas was the hardest. I'd always been the one to pick out Naomi's gifts, spending weeks searching for the perfect thing. That year, I chose a beautiful leather journal with her initials embossed in gold. It came back unopened, returned to sender, stamped in red. My birthday cards met the same fate. Mother's Day flowers for Minnie were returned too. Every attempt at connection bounced back like I was throwing stones at a brick wall. The final attempt came last spring. A mutual friend told me Naomi's IT company had moved downtown. I took a sick day from work and waited in the lobby, hoping to catch her on her lunch break. When I saw her, walking with coworkers toward the revolving door, my heart nearly stopped. She looked thinner, tired, but still beautiful. Still my little girl. Naomi, I called. She turned. For a split second, I saw something like longing in her eyes. Then it was gone. Dad, you can't be here, she said quickly. Just 5 minutes, please. We used to talk about everything. Her coworkers slowed, watching from a distance. Naomi stepped closer, voice low. Ethan will be furious if he finds out you were here. Then don't tell him, I said quietly. This is between us. Her eyes glistened. Nothing is just between us anymore. You can change that, Naomi. You can unmake this mistake. She shook her head, tears threatening to fall. It's too late for that. Then she walked away, without looking back, leaving me standing alone in a glass lobby, surrounded by strangers pretending not to stare. That night, I told Minnie I was done trying. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. But sitting here now, holding this unexpected letter, I felt a flicker of something I hadn't allowed myself in years. Hope. Maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe some bridges could be rebuilt after all. I stood, carrying the letter to the living room. Minnie sat in her favorite armchair by the window, sunlight catching the silver in her hair. Minnie, I said softly. She looked up, pencil frozen midair. Ralph, you look like you've seen a ghost. Better than a ghost, I said, holding up the envelope with trembling hands. It's from Naomi. Today of all days. Her crossword book slipped from her lap. Are you certain? Look at the handwriting. Those loops, the way she crosses her T's. She remembered it's her birthday, Minnie. She's thinking about us. Minnie adjusted her glasses, studying the envelope like a detective. It does look like hers, she said slowly. After all these years of silence, maybe she finally realized that family matters most. The hope in my voice surprised even me. Maybe Ethan's grip isn't as strong as we thought. She reached for my hand, eyes misting. Oh, Ralph, I missed her so much. Her laugh, her stories. Remember how proud she was when they promoted her before he turned her against us. The old anger tried to rise, but I swallowed it. Today wasn't about bitterness. It was about hope. This letter changes everything, I said. She reached out first. We stood together, staring at that envelope like it was a fragile miracle. The air in the room felt charged, like the sky before a storm that promises to wash everything clean. What do you think she says? Minnie whispered. Maybe she's pregnant, I said. Or maybe she left him. Minnie smiled through tears. Or maybe she just misses her dad. Her voice trembled. She's 38 today, and part of her will always be that little girl who used to crawl into bed with us during thunderstorms. I nodded, remembering those mornings of pancakes and laughter, before life got complicated, before pride and pain tore us apart. Whatever she says, Minnie murmured, we'll face it together. I placed my finger under the envelope flap, heart pounding. Here goes nothing, I said. Wait. Minnie's voice cut through the air like a blade. I froze. What is it? Give me that envelope, she said, frowning. Minnie, something's not right. She held it up to the window light, eyes narrowing. Look at how she wrote your name. The slant. Naomi's writing always leaned to the right. This one leans left. It looks fine to me, I said, irritation edging into my voice. No, Ralph. 30 years of grading papers taught me these things. Naomi presses hard when she writes. Look at this, too light, too delicate. That's not her hand. You're imagining things, I said, though a strange unease began creeping into my chest. Am I? She pointed again. Look at this A in your name. Naomi makes her A's perfectly round. This one's pointed. And these F's, too fancy. Too many loops. I stared harder, and the more I looked, the more wrong it felt. The spacing, the rhythm, even the way the ink flowed, it wasn't Naomi's. But who would? I started, then stopped. I don't know, Minnie said quietly, but this isn't from our daughter. The envelope suddenly felt heavier in my hands, not with promise, but with deceit. Someone had gone to the trouble of imitating Naomi's handwriting. Someone wanted to use our pain against us. The cruelty of it made my stomach turn. Maybe I'm wrong, Minnie whispered, her voice breaking. Maybe she just writes differently now? No, I said flatly. You're right. I see it too. The fragile hope I'd built crumbled to dust. Someone's playing with us, I said bitterly. We sat in silence, the envelope lying between us like a piece of evidence. Outside, children's laughter floated through the open window, once a comforting sound. Now, just another reminder of what we'd lost. "We have to open it," I said finally. "We need to know." Minnie nodded, though her face was pale. "Whatever it is, it won't be good." I tore it open, my hand steady now that hope had turned into resolve. If someone wanted to hurt us, I needed to see how. The paper crackled as I unfolded it. One single sheet. "Dear Dad," I read aloud, my voice faltering on the word that suddenly felt foreign. "Read it all," Minnie whispered. "I desperately need your help," I continued. "I'm in the hospital and require emergency surgery that my insurance won't cover. The doctors say I need $15,000 immediately, or I might not survive." Minnie gasped softly. "I know we haven't spoken in years, but you're the only one I can turn to. Please don't let our past disagreements stop you from saving your daughter's life. I need you to transfer the money immediately to my cryptocurrency wallet." I stopped. The random string of letters and numbers swam before my eyes. "Time is critical," I read. "The surgery is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Please hurry, Dad. Your loving daughter, Naomi." The letter slipped from my hands, fluttering to the table like a dying bird. "That's not how she talks," Minnie said immediately. "She never called you Dad in letters, always Daddy. And cryptocurrency? She barely used online banking." I stared at the letter, my pulse thudding in my ears. It wasn't just a scam. It was personal. Someone out there knew exactly how to reopen our oldest wound, that we questioned this one because we loved you. "No," Naomi snapped, her voice trembling. "You questioned it because you can't control me anymore." Ethan stepped forward, his tone smooth as silk, but every word laced with quiet poison. "Maybe it's time for some space, Ralph. Let Naomi make her own choices without interference." His manipulation was flawless, almost rehearsed. I looked at my daughter's face and saw it happen, the wall building behind her eyes brick by brick until I could no longer reach her. "He's right, Dad. I think you should leave." The words didn't sound like Naomi's voice anymore. They sounded like his. Like he'd crawled into her head and rearranged her thoughts. "Naomi, please just think about what I'm saying." "I am thinking," she said, her jaw tight, "and I'm choosing my husband over your suspicions." The door closed softly, but it echoed like thunder. I stood there for minutes that felt like hours, waiting for her to open it again. She never did. Now, sitting in my kitchen 3 years later, that sound still haunted me. The drive home that night was the longest of my life. And what followed was worse, the silence that came after. I called the next day, then the day after that. Voicemails, texts, no replies, just the sound of my own voice bouncing back at me. "Hi, sweetheart, it's Dad. I just wanted to say I'm sorry about yesterday. Maybe we could grab coffee, talk things through." But she never called back. By October, Ethan started answering her phone himself. "She doesn't want to talk to you, Ralph." "Then let me hear it from her." "You heard it when you showed up uninvited. Leave us alone." Click. Silence. I went to her apartment twice that November. The first time, Ethan met me in the lobby, his expensive suit practically sneering at my worn jacket. "This has got to stop," he said. "You're causing her stress." "I'm causing it? What about what you're doing to her bank account?" His smile didn't fade. It just hardened. "Careful, old man. Harassment's a serious charge." The second time was worse. He was already waiting in the parking lot. "I warned you," he said, pulling out his phone. "One more visit, and I'm calling the police. Naomi doesn't want to see you." Christmas came and went in silence. Every year, I was the one who picked her gifts, spent weeks finding something meaningful. That year, it was a leather journal, just like the one she loved in college. Her initials engraved in gold. It came back unopened. Returned to sender. My birthday cards, returned. Mother's Day flowers for Minnie, refused. Every gesture thrown back like a stone against a wall. The last time I tried was the following spring. Through a mutual friend, I found out Naomi's company had moved downtown. I waited in the lobby for hours, hoping just to see her face. When she appeared, walking with colleagues toward the exit, my heart nearly stopped. She looked thinner, pale, but still my little girl. "Naomi." She turned. For a second, I saw a flicker of warmth. Then her expression closed again. Dad, you can't be here. Just 5 minutes, please. We used to be able to talk about anything. Her co-workers slowed their pace, sensing tension. She stepped closer, whispering, Ethan will be furious if he finds out. Then don't tell him. This is between us. Nothing's between us anymore, she said, her voice breaking slightly. I made my choice. You can unmake it, I pleaded. Her eyes glistened. It's too late. And then she was gone, leaving me standing in that lobby, surrounded by strangers pretending not to look. That night, I told Minnie I was done trying. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. But sitting here now, 3 years later, that envelope in my hands changed everything. Maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe some bridges could be rebuilt. I found Minnie sitting in her armchair by the window, sunlight weaving silver through her hair. Ralph, she said, seeing my face, you look like you've seen a ghost. Better than a ghost, I said, holding up the envelope. It's from Naomi. Today of all days. Her crossword book fell from her lap. Are you sure? Look at the handwriting. The way she loops her letters, that's hers. She adjusted her glasses, studying it closely. She remembered her birthday. I said softly. She's thinking about us. Minnie's eyes shimmered. After all these years, maybe she finally realized family's what matters most. Maybe Ethan's control isn't as strong as we thought, I said. She reached for my hand. Oh, Ralph. I'm Mr. Laugh. The way she used to call after every little success. The old anger stirred in me, but I buried it. Today wasn't about the past. It was about hope. This changes everything, I whispered. She reached out first. We stood there together, staring at that envelope like it was a lifeline. The air felt charged, like the moment before a thunderstorm. What do you think she says? Minnie asked. Maybe she's pregnant, or she left him, or maybe she just misses her dad. Minnie's eyes filled with tears. 38 years old today, and she's still our little girl. I smiled faintly. Before life got complicated, remember? Pancakes on her birthday morning, wrapping paper everywhere. Whatever she says, Minnie whispered, we'll face it together. I nodded, positioning my finger under the envelope flap. Here goes nothing. Wait. Her voice sliced through the air. Sharp. Urgent. I froze. Wait for what? Give me that. She snatched the envelope, bringing it closer to the light. Something's not right. What are you talking about? Look. The slant. Naomi's writing always leaned right. This slant's left. Maybe she was upset. People's handwriting changes. Not like this, Minnie said, her teacher's instinct cutting through emotion. Her A's were round. This one's sharp. Her F's were simple. These have loops. My stomach twisted. You're imagining things. Am I? Look again. The more I looked, the more wrong it felt. The pressure, the spacing, even the rhythm of the letters. It wasn't Naomi's hand. It was a performance. But who would do this? I whispered. I don't know, she said. But it's not from our daughter. The envelope suddenly felt heavier. Not with hope, but with something darker. I swallowed hard. We have to open it. Minnie hesitated. Whatever's inside, it won't be good. I tore it open anyway. The paper crackled, fragile in my shaking hands. Dear Dad, I read aloud. The word Dad scraped against my chest like a lie. I desperately need your help. I'm in a hospital. I need emergency surgery that my insurance won't cover. Minnie gasped softly. The doctors say I need $15,000 immediately, or I might not survive. Please send the money to my cryptocurrency wallet. I stopped. The string of random letters and numbers felt like static in my mouth. Minnie's face went pale. It says the surgery's tomorrow morning. I continued, my voice hollow. Please, Dad. You're my only hope. Your loving daughter, Naomi.